Assalamu alaikum guys. I hope that you're all doing well. Hello to my non-Muslim viewers. So I thought I'd make a quick video today regarding COVID-19. I just want to kind of see how everybody's going along with it, how everybody's getting on with kind of the very unusual things that we're having to get used to or having to live by. Now I know there's loads of things obviously that have affected people's lives in regards to work, in regards to family, in regards to myself as a single parent, taking a child out of nursery full time to being home full time, being on furlough, obviously not working as well. Like, it's a massive change. And I know that it has affected people in lots of different ways. So yeah, first of all, I wanted to speak about being a single parent and trying to entertain your child. I have a toddler. He is 2 years old and he's been going to nursery since he was 9 months old, and I've been going to work since I was 9 months old. I was 9 months old since kind of my 9 months of maternity leave was over, because I went on maternity leave when I was 37 weeks, so when I was full term, and I give birth at 38. So it was very weird because when it was all happening, it was a bit up in the air. I didn't know when nursery was closing. I didn't know when we'd start working from home, because we were waiting for the equipment, laptops and all that sort of thing, wires, getting everybody organised, making sure everybody's got everything. And it was a very weird time because we were doing our job. I do cold calling, but then it was, okay, we're going to have to then do our job from home, and it's very different, especially when you're doing cold calling. You have to be on it. So if you're going to be on it, you have to be kind of in that environment where everybody else is on it with you. There's a tempo going, there's an environment going, and then to go from there. And I work in a call center where we're all very it's a very fast-moving call centre. We're playing games, we're doing different activities, we're doing competitions. It's not just working on the phone. So to go from that to then staying at home, sitting at home on your own, doing cold calling, is very weird. Now, I came from being at work to working from home, but I was only working from home for 2 days. Before then, a lot of us were put on furlough. And then I think there was only a few that were kept working full time, because obviously a business has to carry on going on. But obviously, if it's going to have a detrimental effect or a negative, massive impact on the business, then to kind of look after your business and protect your business, sometimes you have to make decisions that you don't want to, but you have to do it. So then my little one came out of nursery. To be fair, I started working from home and he stopped being at nursery. There was only like a 2 days difference. So for 2 days he did stay at my friend's house whilst I went to work, because I was still in the office. Otherwise there was nobody to look after him. So yeah, I was working from home for 2 days, and it felt like 2 very long days, only because I was in a very different environment, and otherwise my child was in the living room for 8 hours kind of on his own. Obviously I'd go and check on him and that sort of thing, but it was very difficult because I felt like I was abandoning him in obviously some form, so that wasn't nice. But in regards to now that we are in lockdown, obviously it has been eased, so you still shouldn't be going to families and friends' house. If you are going to meet everyone, really, it should be in a public place, in an open place where you can maintain a 2 meters distance. If you are going to go anywhere directly to be together, it should only be with your family members. So what I did was, kind of from the beginning, is I said to myself, look, because I can fall into depression and a lot of worry. Not, I wouldn't say easily, it takes a lot to build it up, but then obviously it's not nice when you go through it. So what I started doing was I got into this routine of my little one waking up in the morning. He'd watch TV, he'd have a bit of breakfast. Then at 12 o'clock, he'd go for a nap for about 2 hours, and then he'd wake up. Then I'd give him a snack, and then I'd go for a walk with him. So I'd come home about 4:30, 5 o'clock from that walk. We just go down to the park, or we might just go to Aldi, or we might go to Sainsbury's. I used to go to Sainsbury's all the time. I went through this phase where I was obsessed with cream cakes. It's like died down now, but I used to go to Sainsbury's kind of every 2 days for cream cakes, because I'd have that with my shisha as well. And that's another thing, my shisha, it helped me a lot through it, because I am on my own. I do have my little Lynn. I don't smoke shisha in the same room as my child. I smoke in a totally different room. Windows are open so that whenever he does come into this room, the smoke isn't in the environment. And it did help me get through a lot of it, because it's, for me, it's just that calm ending to the day. So like I'd have my shisha and that sort of thing in the evening. But yeah, it was nice to spend time with my child, but I got into that routine where I knew what time near enough I wanted to do everything. And that became our new routine. Obviously, in my head, I had to keep it that, okay, this routine will have to go out of the window one day, and it probably will be all of a sudden. Then we'll go back into work, back into nursery, that old routine, but it's a routine that I was already used to. So it might be a bit weird going back into it, but it'll be good for us, because it's a routine we used to have, and it's a routine where I wouldn't say it was a benefit in our lives, but it was benefiting him a lot more, because he was mixing with children, mixing with people other than just me, and I was going to work, socialising with my colleagues, doing my job. And some people say, oh, why don't you just stay at home rather than going to work? That you still can get an alright amount of money from the government. For me, it's more about just the money. It's that mentally being a bit more stable, emotionally being able to be a bit more stronger. When you're able to mix with other people, you don't think about things that you think at home so much. Just having that totally different environment, a fresh environment that you can go to every day. And I'm lucky to work in a workplace where that environment is fresh every day. So as a single parent, just to kind of conclude, I have started to maintain a new routine, which we've got used to. We both seem to be quite comfortable with it. And alhamdulillah, all praise to God, and thank you to maybe my brain for being able to adapt to all of this, is I've got used to this routine, and it's not hard work, and I've not fallen into depression or anything. Like, alhamdulillah, like, you have your days where you do feel a bit down, you feel a bit lost, but you're bound to feel like that. You're a human being at the kind of, with everything that's going on, you're still a human being, you still have emotions, you still have a bit of uncertainty, a bit of worry. You don't know what's going to happen next. But I think, to be fair, this has all been handled in quite a good way. So for single parents, I'd say just get into a routine. What I wanted to talk about next was Eid and Ramadan in lockdown. Now, of course, it is going to be such a weird Eid. Like, never had an Eid like this. I think maybe 2-3 generations before us, they've never had an Eid like this. It's going to be very, very different, very, very weird. As Muslims, we go, and, well, the men generally, women can as well, but I know in my kind of areas the women tend to stay at home, not because they're forced to or anything, but just because I think it's maybe just something that everyone just takes off each other. You have like your Eid prayer. You have your Eid prayer in the morning, where the men go to the mosque, and then everybody meets with each other. Everybody gets together, they hug each other, they embrace each other, because it's just been Ramadan, a month where you've been thinking about the poor, the less fortunate. You're reflecting on what you have and how grateful you should be for it. You use that month as a month of kind of reflection, so you don't go on do the normal things that you do, because that's the month of Ramadan is just something that you should benefit from as much as possible. So it's better maybe not to go around meeting everybody that you usually meet, just chilling with your boys and all that sort of thing. So kind of leading up to Eid, like around about now, because I know some people do Eid a day before or 2 days before, depending on when you start Ramadan and whether or not you generally keep the 29 fast or the 30. So I know for us guys, we started Ramadan a day after. So we generally tend to keep the full 30. I think there's only been once in the last couple of years where we've not. But that sort of thing, I'm not bothered about that conversation, because at the end of the day, to me, it's literally down to interpretation. Nobody should be judged for when they do Eid or when they start Ramadan. That literally for me is down to interpretation. If you follow a certain thing because your community does, that's up to you. That's none of my business. But to me, sometimes there's a big judgment on people who start Eid 1 or 2 days before, or when they start Ramadan before. Just mind your own business. That's got nothing to do with you. At the end of the day, to me, you're not going to heaven or hell for it. So you shouldn't really be judging somebody for doing that. You shouldn't be judging somebody anyway, but it's not something that will send them to heaven or hell. So just do your thing and do what you believe in, and just respect other people's beliefs and what they do as well. So leading up to Eid, kind of around about now, you'll have what we call Chandrats. Pakistani people call them Chandrats, and that is basically where your Asian bazaars or markets will open, and there'll be obviously your clothes, your mehndi, your henna cones, your shoes, your jewelry. People put henna on, and people get together. It can get very, very hot, because I used to work in a market, and whoa, I used to be sat on the floor like trying to breathe. It'd get so hot, because it's such a confined space, but there'll be hundreds of people in there. So it's so beautiful. It's so nice to see everybody get together, and then they'll go on until 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. People will come home, they'll cook, they'll put some food on overnight, and then comes to the morning. The men will go to the masjid, the women will pray at home. Your clothes are generally ironed that morning or the evening before. So you're supposed to wear nice clothes. People give Eid gifts, Eid money to people, to their direct family, to their extended family, and it's just so beautiful. It's just such a family orientated time, and people get together with their close friends. They'll go to each other's houses, they'll eat, they'll spend time, quality time, and it's such a wonderful and blessed experience. And that's why for Muslims it's going to be such a shock to the system, in a way that, okay, I think people will probably still meet each other. I would probably say don't meet anybody who's at risk or anything like that. Don't be going into people's houses anyway, that you shouldn't be. Try and keep within your direct family. If you bump into somebody outside, then fair enough, but I wouldn't purposely say get yourself into that situation where you could become ill, or you're mixing with people maybe you shouldn't be, either by the guidelines of coronavirus itself or from the government. So it's such a beautiful time, and it'll be really weird because we won't be able to have them Chandrats. We probably won't be able to put henna on, because people tend to go to each other's houses and put henna on. We won't have family coming in and out eating, probably not the Eid gifts that we usually have. So literally it's all been scrapped and we're down to the basics. Now in regards to Ramadan, I think coronavirus has come at a perfect time, because it's all down to basics, and the point of Ramadan is bringing everything down to basics, appreciating everything that you have, trying to keep your fast, staying away from swearing, staying away from anything that could break your fast, like eating food, swearing, doing bad things. So all of them sort of things have been stripped down to the level, because people are having to stay at home. Because they're staying at home, they're praying more, they're observing more, they're reflecting more. So in regards to Ramadan, the purpose of Ramadan, being stripped right down to the bottom, is what people have been able to do, and it's become so much easier because there's not them distractions. You're not going here, there and everywhere spending money. People have been doing desserts, food and that sort of thing, but although they're doing that, percentages of the money that they've made, they've been putting towards charity, which is a massive thing in Ramadan. They've been able just to sit at home in peace, play the Quran back, either via Islamic cubes, via the radio, or just read it, complete their Quran back. So it's been such a blessed time for the coronavirus to come around, especially with Ramadan, because we've remembered as Muslims why we actually observe Ramadan, and why it's so important to try and keep it as simple as possible, because that's why we have Ramadan. Kind of the last thing I wanted to go to in regards to the coronavirus itself is mental health. So there's stats that say domestic violence and all that sort of thing has gone up by however many percentage, doubled, tripled, whatever you want to say. And I think this is a time where we remember or think about what we actually need in life and what we don't need in life in regards to what we've got so used to in our daily lives that maybe we shouldn't be standing for, we shouldn't be accepting, or it's just something that we're putting up with or doing with because that's how life should be. Now, I'd always urge anybody who is being abused to come forward, sexually, mentally, emotionally, physically. You don't want to end up like, and I'm going to do a video on this, but don't be the result of somebody else. Be the result of yourself. Be the result of your work, your effort, what you've given to yourself. Do not be the result of somebody else's abuse, somebody else's words, somebody else telling you how low you are. And it's easy for people to say, oh, you're worth so much. It's so easy for somebody to say that to you, and it's harder for you to believe, especially if you are being abused. Now, I'd always say is talk to people. I'm sure everybody has even that one person that they can go to, whether it's a friend, a family member, just an associate. There's always that one person, and use that one person to just release it all, tell them what's going on, and just do the right thing. Because at the moment, especially, there is this big light on abuse. So if you are suffering it, then make the most of this time to step forward, to know that you're worth a lot more. And it's not about feminism and I stand for women's rights, because it happens to women and men. It doesn't just happen to women, trust me, it doesn't. And it's about just taking that step, knowing that you are worth a lot more than what you've been standing for. And do you know what? Once this coronavirus is over, just do things differently. If you used to accept that you can put up with everything, then just learn from the coronavirus. What is it that you can't put up with? Try and make them changes, especially if you've got children. Don't stay in marriages. Don't stay in relationships for the sake of your children, for the sake of other people. I think this is a whole different video, to be honest. Just for the sake of you being scared, because trust me, there's a big world out there. There's so many different support networks that can help you. It's hard to go forward. Trust, it's hard for somebody to step forward who is being abused, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. Why would you want to live a life of being with somebody who's always got that upper hand on you? And it's not about, us women should be able to do this, we should be able to do that, but there's wrong and there's right. Abuse is wrong. Abuse is wrong. And just compare, if you are being abused, the situation that you're in now and how it was before lockdown. It's probably a lot worse now than when it was in lockdown, when it wasn't lockdown, sorry. But that's not because you had a routine. You're still with that individual that you were with before lockdown than you are now. And it's okay, people saying, oh yeah, but you get in each other's faces. If you think that's the situation, go for separate walks, spend time apart, do things apart. Just because we're in lockdown and you have to stay within your own household, it doesn't mean that you sit with each other 24/7. He or she can still go for a walk and you can stay at home. You go shopping by yourself or with a child if you have to. One of you just go and do the shopping. Try and make it healthy. But if it's doing them things and it's still not healthy, then you have something to be concerned about and something you need to address and step forward about. So yeah, I mean, this kind of video was about coronavirus and all, a few situations that people are having to deal with at the moment. Eid, Ramadan, single parents, abusive relationships, abusive situations. Now, it was like an advice video, and I hope that people do take something from it. But I just want everybody to know that if you are suffering, whether it's within a relationship or as a single parent, you're worried it's a bit overwhelming, you're not on your own. Them people who are close to you, who value the most, make the most out of their presence and the fact that they're in your life. Trust me, they do not care about being there at all. And you know what? People are there in your life for different reasons. And one of the main reasons is there to be a support network and to be there for you, to hear you out and to be there in your darkest times. Now, so make the most out of them people. You're not alone. You're not low just because you're suffering. You're not low or you're not like being over dramatic because you're struggling one day. The coronavirus and this lockdown is probably going to teach you a lot of things about you that you already didn't know. And depending on what those sorts of things are, use them people as support networks. Use it as a time to grow. Use it as a time to appreciate your children. Use it as a time to reflect on yourself, maybe become a better person, maybe set new goals for yourself, because we get so busy in our lives that we forget that there's maybe places that we want to be where we are now. There's things that we want to do that we've not done, and set some goals. And inshallah, God willing, hopefully, whatever you believe, if you believe in a God or if you don't believe in a God, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all come together. So inshallah, if I don't post a video before Eid, I just want to say Eid Mubarak to everybody. Ramadan Mubarak. I know it's the end, but there's nothing wrong in wishing somebody a happy Ramadan or a blessed Ramadan. We've still got time to get them blessings. I hope that you all have a wonderful Eid. Make the most of it. Spend time with your family, and you know what? Just make the most out of the blessings and the simplicity of this Eid. Wear your Eid clothes. That's a sunnah. So don't be saying, oh yeah, because we're not going outside, we don't need to get Eid clothes. Like, nah. Get your Eid clothes. Wear your Eid clothes. Make the most out of Eid. It might be different Eid, but trust, it's a blessed Eid. So Allah Hafiz. I'll see you all soon. Bye bye. Thank you for watching my videos. If you've not subscribed, please do subscribe. Leave a comment down below. For you guys who do have my social media, I will put it at the beginning of the video anyway. Yeah, just let me know if there's anything that you want me to talk about, if there's anything that you want me to discuss, anything that's concerning you that you might want a bit of advice on. So just let me know. But inshallah, take care of yourselves. Okay, Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.